there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
Hey there, what's up? This is Mercedes from the White Swan, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father. And as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. I'd like to welcome back today Mercedes Lander of the White Swan. The White Swan has released their new EP, Nocturnal Transmission, via War Crime Recordings. Also check out their debut video for the EP, In Love and Ritual, and also check out Tell It to the Sky video. So don't sleep on this band, folks. They know what they're doing. So Mercedes, welcome back to the show, and how are you doing?
I am wonderful. How are you doing, John?
Doing awesome. Glad to have you back on here again.
Right? I feel like it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been like 20 years, so...
It's been like 20 years. Well, has it really been 20 years?
I don't know. I think like 3, something like that.
So 17 less than 20.
Yes. Divide by 2.5.
Yeah.
Three. Yeah. So how have you been doing, and what have you been up to during this crazy pandemic other than talking and promoting the new EP Nocturnal Transmission? Because you started writing on these songs since 2019. I know it's finally good to get these out. Yeah.
So basically, I guess what happened was, we recorded this record in December of 2019. And then everything kind of, once we got, it was like mid-February by the time we got the masters back. And then it was just like the shit hit the fan. Mm-hmm. And we were just like, oh, what are we going to do? So we kind of sat on it for a little bit. And then we decided that, no time like the present, I guess. We just, decided, let's see what happens. And I called up Steve from War Crime, who has released our other vinyls. And I was like, hey, you want to do another record? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay, well, here you go. And then that was probably May. And then we kind of, just winged it from there and got everything all situated. And then we picked a release date in September, and here we are. Nocturnal Transmission is out. But other than that, we've just really been working on getting, because it's hard to promote a record when you can't play live shows, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, streaming was.
Yeah, so we've been really working hard on kind of getting everything kind of put together without, our main promotional tour, which is live shows, which is our main promotional, I guess, way of promoting things. So it's weird, right? Like not to be able to play shows. And usually it's just like by now we would have played like a full weekender. We might have dipped down into the US or, whatnot. And it's definitely been really weird.
It's been scary times. It's kind of like the deal where everybody's like, oh man, I can't wait for the apocalypse. That'd be awesome. Live through it. Well, it's kind of touch of it right now. You know what I'm saying? It's been kind of bleak on some things.
Yeah. And it's been very interesting. Like for the first couple months, man, that was some scary shit. Yep. And nobody really knows what's ahead too, which is probably the scariest part, right?
It's even scary to believe in anything right now because we don't know what to believe. You hear one thing, and then 2 weeks later, there's something else that comes out. So we're just like, okay, stop. Let's get the fuck on the road and let's do this.
And I think the biggest thing is that because nobody really knows.
Yeah.
And it's only speculation at this point, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, some things now because, 7 months on. But especially at the beginning, man, like nobody knew anything about how COVID was transmitted, or, it was really super terrifying. I didn't leave my house for a really long time. The only time I ever left my house was to ride my bike.
Yeah, and I had to go into work because I'm what they call an essential worker because of internet, because I do tech support and we have to keep the internet service up and going. And it scared me as well because I didn't know if I was going to be coming back home the same person health-wise or if I was going to get it. You know what I mean? You didn't know. So
yeah,
very, very scary. Still scary to this day right now because we still don't know.
I'm glad you're okay, and so far so good.
This EP, Nocturnal Transmission, would you say this is a turning point for the White Swan?
Is it a turning point? I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like the first 3 EPs we did with a guy named Alistair Sims, who is an amazing guy, but he ended up moving to Nashville and wasn't available. So I turned to my number one go-to homie, Siegfried Meyer, to record this newest EP, so Nocturnal Transmission. And I feel like with this recording, with how it turned out, I feel like with working with Siegfried, him and I have known each other for so long, and we've worked together on so many different projects, and I've done so many different things with him that he just kind of knows me really well. Mm-hmm. And he knows what I want. So like, I didn't even really have to tell him anything. I'm like, yeah, whatever, that's good. And the nice thing about working with him is that there's an extra layer of sheen. It's like everything's a little extra polished with him because he's such a perfectionist. So I feel like production-wise, this record was definitely leaps and bounds ahead of, not leaps and bounds, but it was definitely, it's a little more polished than the last couple of records, especially like if you go back to the beginning of our first EP, that Anubis was like super gritty. We got a little more polished and a little more polished. And then, this record is definitely like, it's super shiny. I like where it's going.
That was going to be my next question. Working with Siegfried, did he get something out of you guys that maybe somebody else might not have gotten since you've had this relationship with him for so long?
Yeah, and I feel like, because the one thing that sticks out with me working with Siegfried, that he always tells me is that he's like the way that things come out of you are weird. And he means that completely great, like in a good way. And what he means by that is everything is like super minor in my head, like all of the scales that I use, and like when doing like vocal harmonies and stuff, he's like, oh, everything's so weird and minor, and your vocal harmonies are weird, but it makes sense. So and I'll be honest with you, I hate recording vocals because I'm super judgy with myself. Mm-hmm. And it was really nice because I did feel very comfortable with having Siegfried around while I recorded those vocals. Because, I'm just really comfortable with him. But yeah, no, he's a very encouraging person. And, he's he kind of pushes you to be able to, do your best.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I'm never going to be happy with the way I sound, but, I got pretty close.
I know we touched on this just a little bit ago, but how does it feel to still be creating music as a band in this crazy pandemic without touring right now? Because a lot of bands are kind of iffy on everything, and plus we have live streaming now, which a lot of bands have been doing this a long time ago with live streaming.
I agree with that. It's a super cool tool. But I don't think anything will ever really take away from the actual, live experience. But it's a great way to keep bands in practice and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just so interesting how things are going right now, and we're really, we're just missing playing live shows really more than anything. Oh, yeah. But I'm really hoping to get back to that. But, if for the next little while we get to do some live streams, I'm okay with that as well.
So how nervous were you guys to actually put this out right now? Were you guys actually thinking about, let's just hold off and see where this takes us?
I sat on it for quite a while, like a good 4 months. I sat on this record, so I really was just like, I don't know what to do. It was nerve-wracking though, because and I had this discussion with Steve, and I was like, we're not going to be able to do shows, and he was like, well, I guess we'll just see what happens. And I was like, you're okay, Steve. He's like, we just got to create a lot of content. He's right. We're going to be releasing some more videos and some more other content-y type things, doing tons of interviews, which is great. So I get to talk to people like you and talk about the record and stuff like that, which is super nice and really super helpful as well, because everybody's on the internet right now because nobody has anything better to do.
Yeah, I do it every day. I do it at work, come home, and it's like,
Exactly.
There's my buddy.
All the interneting.
Yeah, I'm almost at the end of the internet.
Well, I'd like to see what this is all about.
Mercedes, what's impressed or excited you the most about making the new EP, Nocturnal Transmission? If anything, is there anything that sticks out the most for you possibly?
Normally we get everything done in one day. And for some reason, this time around, I think it was the extra song that we ended up doing. We ended up taking 2 days. And I drove up the second day, like a week later after we recorded the music and stuff like that. I just drove up by myself. And it was just Siegfried and I, and recording the vocals. And it was like super idyllic. Like the snow was falling. Siegfried's his studio is on like a super old farm that is his family's farm, and he has like his own building and stuff like that with the studio. And so it's like trees and fields, and it gets pretty snowy up here during the winter months, so like there's a pretty crazy snowstorm. And it was just like a really cool backdrop to be recording those vocals too. And yeah, that was it. And then our live drummer showed up because he lives kind of in that general area, and then we hung out for a little bit, and then I went home.
I keep thinking about when you say Siegfried, I'm waiting for you to say, and then he had his big Bengal tiger that came out and hung out too, and
his big tiger. I mean, if those things wouldn't eat my face off, I would love to have a tiger. I am jealous of Siegfried and Roy.
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on the EP? I know it must change every time you listen to it or you talk about it. And I know these are your babies, but do you have any that stick out for you?
I kind of like the fact that Purple is so weird and experimental. It's definitely a little different than all of the other songs on the EP, and a lot different than the songs that we've recorded in the past. But I feel like, I definitely really, really, really like that song a lot. But, I like them all, though, so...
What about any tracks that didn't make this EP? Can we see them on an EP down the road or another album possibly, or no?
I do this really cool thing where I actually usually change things like a week before we go into record. So I'll be like, last practice, I'll be like, hey guys, so we're going to do this completely new song that you've never played before, and we get to practice it a couple times, and then we're going to go record it. Okay. Like, oh God, like I feel really bad for them because I do this to them every time we record. So that's what Purple was. But there's definitely some songs and stuff that we didn't get to and didn't really, finish in time to record. Otherwise, it would have been we were actually shooting for a 5-song EP, but I didn't end up getting it finished in time because that's just who I am. And so we were like, well, we're just going to do 4 and we'll see what happens. But we ended up changing Purple completely, like a couple days before we went into the studio. So there's like leftover riffs from how that song originally sounded and all sorts of stuff. So
yeah, that was going to be my next question. Was there a song that you guys were working on that took a total 360 change and sounded different by the time it was done?
Yeah, there's so many. Oh my God. Like thinking about it, it's just the amount of transformation,
Yeah.
I guess, that every song goes through. Because I'll just wake up one day and I'll be like, I don't like that. And then I'll go, and then I'll change it. And then I'll just be like, okay, well, I guess this is the way the song goes. And then sometimes I'll be like, I don't like that either. And then we'll go back to the way it was before, or like something else. I'll create something else and add another part. It's just, there's just so many incarnations of these songs. One day, maybe we'll just like release all of our terrible basement demos, and you can hear how the songs kind of change.
Yeah, you guys should. We need a B-side to all this. Come on.
Yeah. Recordings are like, hey, let me put the cell phone on the stairs, and then we'll run back to my drums and we'll start playing.
So let's talk about this, because I like the album art. The album art was done by collage artist Caitlin Grabstein. Is that correct? Grabenstein,
or yeah, something like that.
How was working with her on this?
So, funny story about Caitlin. I had found her on Instagram, and I had found the photo of the Nocturnal Transmission album, and I was like, I need this in my life. This is perfect. I didn't even have, we didn't even record the record yet. I bought that image off of Caitlin before we even recorded.
Oh, wow.
So, because I was just like, oh my God, this is exactly what I want. So I had messaged her and I was like, hey, do you have stuff for sale? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I was thinking of buying one thing in particular. And she basically, I sent her the image and she was like, this is actually available. And I was like, this is perfect. I will give you money and I would love to work with her again.
I'll give you money.
Yeah, right. So, I feel like a lot of times, people are like, why don't you just do it for free for exposure? I am totally that guy. I want to pay people because, that's stupid. If you're an artist, you deserve to have compensation for your art.
Sure, sure.
So anyway, I gave her money, and then I was like, this is mine now, and then I created the new logo myself one day when I was sitting on my couch, and kind of put it over top, and I was like, that looks good. And then one of Steve's artists ended up using the Zodiac font for that. That is basically the Zodiac Killer font. For the actual, Nocturnal Transmission title, and all of the print on the back, which is super nice. So it came together really easily, and I saw that image, and I was drawn to it because it kind of went along with what the theme of the record, kind of staring into the unknown. So. I was like, this is perfect. This person is clearly my soulmate that created this image. And she seems like a swell girl. So I will give you money and I will take your stuff.
And again, it goes with me on this. I go back to the throwback days of just going and looking at albums and letting the album cover draw my attention. And this one did. I was just like, that's pretty wicked.
So, how many albums did you, I'm going to assume you're probably fairly close to my age. How many albums did you buy when you were a kid just because the album cover looked cool?
Oh, at least 50 at the most, 25 to 50 albums of non-bands, and now I like them, love them.
Yeah. So exactly, like when I was a kid, like I would walk into the record store, I would be like, that album's cover looks cool. You look at the picture at the back and I'd be like, those people kind of look like me. And then I would buy it. And if it sucked, it sucked. And if it didn't suck, that would be great. You know, you found music that you wouldn't normally have got, purchased.
Yeah. Now, I loved Metallica growing up, but my very first album that I bought in a store, and I remember this to this day, Mercedes, I was 8 years old, and I bought Poison's Open Up and Say Ah because of just the whole picture, the tongue, the face. I was like, well, that's pretty cool, and loved it.
See, there you go. Every once in a while, you got like an epic fail. But, for the most part, you bought some pretty rad records, right?
Mm-hmm. The next one I bought was King Diamond. I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to hell.
Well, I'll see you there.
Yeah, we'll bootleg ice.
Oh, my God.
What does bandmates Shane and Kira bring to this band that may be missing if they ever go?
Well, I hope they don't ever go. But I think the nice thing about having Karen and Shane around is they add their own flair to all of the recordings. Like Shane is a great guitar player, Kira's a great bass player. They both add their own personality, their own vibe to the music, which is super nice. And it makes me really happy to be able to share this with them. Kira and I were in a band previous to this called the Alcoholies, and I played drums in that band. And when things started to slow down with that band, I just kind of was like, well, we should do something else. And she was like, I think that's a great idea. And I was like, I do too. And at the time, Kira and Shane were dating then. They're engaged now. They had to cancel their wedding because of COVID, unfortunately. But I was like, hey, do you want Shane to be in the band? And I was like, you can say no, by the way, because I wasn't sure if being in a band with her future husband would be weird. She was like, no, that's fine. And I was like, okay, This is cool. The nice thing too is like, the friendship, and they're great people. And I really appreciate having them, to bounce ideas off of. And, it's really nice to have them involved.
Mercedes, what do you hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of White Swan's music in general? What do you hope someone gets from it?
I just want people to have a good time and enjoy the ride, so to speak. I just want people to be happy and enjoy music as much as I enjoy it. And I mean, that might be asking a lot because I really like music, but it's one of those things where, I just want people to, really identify with it, enjoy it, and have fun while listening to it, and tell all their friends so their friends can listen to it too.
So once everything gets back to normal and you guys are going out on tour and everything, what are they going to get when they come to see White Swan live? What are they going to get?
Listen, I'm going to tell you that if we play live again, if that ever happens, it's going to be crazy. They're just going to get a high energy show with 60 BPM music, which is super slow, by the way. About as high energy as you can get with 60 BPM. And I think that's, I just want to see everyone. I want to be able to experience the people that have found this band, whether that be on social media or whatnot. Since the last time we were out playing live, I want to meet new people. I want to see all of the old faces. I just miss playing live, and I really hope to see everybody when we're allowed to do that again.
Is there a country that stands out or shocks you that the White Swan gets support from, or your guys' music gets played in possibly?
Okay, so the other day, funny that you would say this, the other day, I actually messaged Perry, our live drummer, and Kieran Shane. I think it was our Apple Music list of most popular countries. Or Spotify, that's what it was. So number 1 is Moscow, Russia. Number 2 is St. Petersburg, Russia. Number 3, Chicago. And then number 4 is Australia. And number 5 is Brazil.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, clearly we're going to Russia, guys. So, and I've been to Russia once in my life, and it was a lot of fun.
But how does that feel, though, to see these other countries taking on to your guys' music like that, though?
You know what? I just love it so much. It makes me so happy that people appreciate and love music as much as I do. And I'm really happy that people appreciate the music that I am making. Like that, to me, that's so important. And it makes me feel good and feel like I've done okay.
Yeah, you have. And I'll say this right now. I loved what you guys did in Kitty, but I like this. This is like the sludge groove, all that stuff, the slow. This is awesome.
I'm glad you like it. That makes me very happy.
I know you had a lot of music growing up, a lot of albums and everything, but did you have a go-to album or song when you were younger that, affected you as far as giving you inspiration or just escaping for a while?
So, I would characterize my childhood in 2 acts. So act 1 would be Van Halen.
Oh, nice.
It would be Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2 only. Maybe a little bit of Women and Children first, maybe some Diver Down, but just 1 and 2 really. Let's be honest here. So Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2. So that's act 1. Act 2 would be oh God, I don't even know. Act 2 would be I don't know, probably I would say Silverchair.
Nice.
Yeah. So I actually, funny story, I did an interview yesterday and I was talking to this guy who was interviewing me. Clearly I wasn't interviewing myself. He was really super surprised when I told him that Silverchair was the band for us when we were kids. And it's true though, because, back when I first started playing drums, that band, they were around the same age as us. I think they were maybe 3 years older than me and a year older than my sister, or 2 years or whatever. And it was when that band came out, it clicked, and I was like, I can do this. These people are my age. So I went and I got a drum kit right away, and started playing.
Frog Stomp, I absolutely love that album. I still have the CD right now. Still have it. And I have a digital copy of it too, just in case anything happens.
My husband just bought it for me on vinyl recently.
Nice.
So.
Good guy. Good guy.
Yeah. He is okay. I will keep him.
And they had Freak Show that came out after Frog Stomp.
Yeah, that was a great record too.
Yes, it was.
I don't know if you ever got a chance to hear Diorama or Neon Ballroom is great as well. Yeah. Diorama's great, and then Young Modern is also amazing. I recommend you check out those 2 records too. They're a little more orchestral and strange, but I really recommend if you want to get weird, those 2 records are definitely a thing.
But see, that's the cool part about Silverchair. It shows you the diversity of that band. They could do anything, pretty much. Right.
So I guess that's what happens when you grow up. It's either you go you write really sad, slow music like me, or or you just you get an orchestra behind you and hire two. The last time I saw Silverchair, they had it was for Young Modern, so it wasn't that long ago, and I saw them in Detroit, and they had like 2 piano players. They had, I think they had like they had a piano player and a keyboardist, and then they had, the band. So they were traveling with all extra things, which I thought was really cool. And actually, it sounded amazing.
Well,
It makes me really sad that they are not a thing anymore.
Well, I think they're. I don't know if this is true or not. This is what I've been hearing. You may have some inside news on this. I don't know, but I heard they possibly may be doing another album.
What? That's crazy. Well, if that's the case, I will definitely buy it. I know Daniel is pretty popular with like an R&B career in Australia and like, the UK and stuff like that. He has his own like solo stuff that does really well. But if they put out another record, I would definitely be really excited about that.
When the White Swan comes around Kentucky, we're going to do Pure Massacre, and I'll sing it with you guys. Oh,
bomb. Okay. I don't even know if Kira and Shane were born in 1995.
Oh, wow. They're missing out.
You know what? That's a lie. I'm pretty sure Kira in 1995, I think Kira would have been 1. I'm like legit like 10 years older than Kira and Shane. It's pretty great.
Yeah, well, we need to break them into some good music then. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Mercedes, how can folks pick up this new album, this new EP, actually, Nocturnal Transmission? How can they pick up this EP from you guys? Stay in touch, merchandise, all that good stuff. How can they do that?
Well, you can stream it on all of, your regular streaming platforms like Apple Music and Spotify and stuff like that. Or if you use Tidal, I guess that will also work. But anyway, so what I would suggest, though, is if you want to check out something tangible that you can touch with your fingers, you can go to our Bandcamp, thewhiteswan.bandcamp.com. And you can check out all of the goodies that we have there. We've got lots of vinyl. We've got Nocturnal Transmission on vinyl. We also have some leftover stuff from our previous EPs. And every once in a while, we'll do like a crazy short run of like super crazy shirts. Or I think we might be putting up some masks here shortly, so you guys can look fashionable while avoiding the Rona. And for us, this is the most direct way to purchase. So Bandcamp is the most direct way to purchase this EP or any of our EPs, because the money goes directly to the band instead of to Spotify or Apple. But the choice is yours. You've got lots of choices. Choose wisely.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Sure. Okay. Hey there, what's up? This is Mercedes from the White Swan, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up. You only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour podcast. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube link, and all the links that we're associated with. And you definitely want to subscribe, because we have a lot of great interviews coming up. And get out and check out the White Swan. Please, you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much for the interview. I truly appreciate it, and keep knocking this out, because you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so much. And you know what? I'm looking forward to putting out some new music, hopefully soon, because I have nothing better to do, and and hopefully we get to chat soon again.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk to you soon, and thank you so much.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.